I wanted to talk a little bit about how to deal with employees or those serving who aren't able to accomplish what is expected of leadership. In the time I've been working in ministry, I'm coming to realize that there's ultimately three main ways you can respond to someone who's not working out well. We all face this at one time or another, and it could be someone who had been working out well, but something changed. It could be someone who hasn't worked out well from the beginning, but based on a relationship or a situation or who they are, you're trying to work with them and figure out what to do next. You really only have three options, though. You have retraining, and that depends on their receiving of that information when you want to retrain someone. It could be couched within the framework of, well, we want to try some things some different ways than we've done them before to be more successful. It could be, you have to be pretty blunt, well, my expectations aren't being met. The job isn't being done to the satisfaction of those who are concerned. And so we need to change the way it's being done because what's going on right now is not working. So there has to be retraining or there has to be reinforcement. You may find yourself in a situation where someone is doing a job, taking care of responsibilities, but it is too overwhelming for one person, or for that person in particular because of their giftedness. Maybe they're not suited completely to the position, but it's close enough in the ballpark, you're like, I want to work with this. So you can reinforce. Now that can be reinforcement through volunteer help, hiring additional people, whether part-time or full-time. It could be in materials and tools that you're providing this person so they can do the job effectively. If you think they're capable and they simply need some assistance, some help, then you can reinforce. So retrain or reinforce. And each of those steps before and after needs to be a review or an evaluation of what's working, what's not working moving forward. But finally, you may have to go with the final of the 3Rs. After retrain and reinforce. If those aren't working, then you may have to replace. Now that sounds harsh. We immediately think of people being let go and fired. And though that does happen, it may be this person has something to contribute, but maybe they're not in the right position. It may be that God has another role for them to play within that same ministry. It could mean they need to move on to a different ministry. They weren't suited to the position. But in showing the grace and love of Jesus Christ, as a leader, as a servant leader, and as someone who's in some place of authority within a ministry setting, church, Christian school, what have you, I believe it is our God-given responsibility to invest in that person, help them grow, disciple them, to draw closer to Jesus Christ. So even in a segue from a position, you need to be looking at the best interests of that person according to how God has prepared them and gifted them and prepared them for what He has for them. And you may end up in showing the love of Christ, helping them segue out of the ministry into another position somewhere and assisting in that way, possibly. I don't know what that is going to look like for you. But those are your 3Rs to keep in mind. And if you want to talk more about this, you can contact me, and we will try to help you on a more individual basis as needed. But retrain, reinforce, or replace. Those are pretty much your three options when someone's not really able to do what you're needing them to do in a ministry position. I hope that's helpful.